This woman is dressed sexy. Go as far touted was to visit the man who raped her. Face to face across the glass. The man was deeply guilty. Kept apologizing. The woman stared at him intently. The man thought she asked for the meeting to get even with him, but unexpectedly, the first words out of the woman's mouth were asking how his life in prison was. The man was stunned on the spot. Then the two chatted about daily life, warmly like friends. It turned out that Ivy had carefully dressed herself at home that day, preparing to welcome her blind date, but the other party arrived early. After opening the door, she saw the man with a full beard and a wretched look, instantly making Ivy want to refuse the date, but out of politeness, she warmly invited the man inside. Ivy changed into a white dress. The man looked at her beautiful figure and said some wretched things. Ivy felt offended. Through their conversation, Ivy realized she had mistaken him for someone else. She asked the man to leave, but when the man turned to the door, the next second he locked it from the inside. Ivy warned him to leave immediately, or she would call the police, but the man advanced step by step, said he liked Ivy for a long time. Ivy was terrified by the man in front of her. She turned to escape but was grabbed by the hair by the man. She struggled desperately to escape, but couldn't avoid the man at all. He violated Ivy. Afterwards, the man quickly fled the scene. When the blind date arrived, he was stunned by the scene before him. Ivy woke up again in a hospital bed. Fortunately, her body was unharmed, but Ivy's heart was broken. She repeatedly recalled who the perpetrator was. Finally remembered. The perpetrator's name was Carter, who had delivered food to her several times before. Through this key clue, the police quickly located the murderer's address and promptly arrested Carter, who was preparing to escape, punishing the murderer according to law. But Ivy's life didn't improve. The psychological and physical trauma made her depressed. Her father was even more heartbroken for failing to protect his daughter. For safety, the father proposed selling the old house and buying a new one closer to family, but Ivy refused and disagreed. When she returned to work, Ivy found her hands kept shaking, which was a devastating blow to her dreams. At home, she tried to exercise her hands by making cakes, but repeated failures made her extremely irritable, and she became restless. After lying on the floor all night, Ivy seemed to have figured something out. She wrote a letter and sent it to Carter in prison, seeming to be filled with vitality again, with a smile on her face, but all the letters mailed were returned unopened. Yet Ivy kept writing one after another, until she received a reply that said "You win," and Carter agreed to her prison visit. Since then, Ivy visited Carter frequently. Her makeup became more beautiful each time, and her clothes sexier each time, but this time,